Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the FHM 7 series I have been doing as of late, Birth of the Bolts. This will be part number 4. We're going to begin with games starting on January 2nd, 1993, and we're going to play Edmonton to start off things. Let's just say things could be going better for the Tampa Bay Lightning at the moment, as I will show you the standings once again. And we are at 21 points. We did not win a blessed game all December long. We went 0, 10, and 2. 21 points total. We're still 6 ahead of Ottawa, who is in last place at 732 and 1. We're 824 and 5. But we got to get going here a little bit. We'll show you the schedule from December. December. The old Willie Nelson song. Which was I think Stardust. Oh well. Anyway, you saw the first 3 games that I did in part 3. 3 losses to Detroit, the Islanders, and the Rangers, and then it didn't get any better. We lost 7-2 at home to the Rangers, then a 3-3 tie against Edmonton. The Los Angeles Kings beat us like a drum 4-2, and San Jose beat us 4-2. San Jose was only a second-year team. We tied the Devils 5-5, lost to the Flyers 3-1, lost to Boston 2-1, and Hartford 6-1, and then on New Year's Eve we lost 5-3 to the Chicago Blackhawks. Here come the Hawks, the mighty Blackhawks. My job security, which began at 80, is now plummeting like a stock market stock during the crash of 1929. I started off at 80, and I am now down to 54. So if things don't get going soon, I'm going to be looking for another place, another team to manage. And we would still call this the birth of the Bolts if that wound up happening. And we would just pick the best team to do. So we're off to play Edmonton. We should show you the statistical leaders because we're about halfway through the season. Mario Lemieux, no surprise, he's got 46 goals, and he has played quite well. Assists is led by Brian Leach at 46. 90 points for Lemieux. He has 201 shots. His plus-minus is 32. Those lead the league. And Lapointe, 59. 0.5 face-off percentage for the Quebec Nordiques. Again, the face gen is kind of hit or miss, so you're going to see the left shoulder of a few players, left arm of a few players. Howda of Hartford, 116 block shots. Penalty minute leader is McSorley at 213. Marty McSorley for the Kings. Mary Lemieux, 21 power play goals, and Courtnall of the Canucks with 3 shorthanded goals. And now we're queuing up the goalie stats. Barrasso, 19 wins, although Tampa Bay beat Pittsburgh in an earlier episode. Sidorkowitz is the goalie who has lost the most with 18. Ranford has the most ties or overtime losses at 9. Goals against, 140. Raw, Patrick Waugh is leading that. He's falling on hard times. Felix Potvin, the best goalie at 248 GAA. Or as Neil Rogers, who was a talk show host in Miami that we used to get in Tampa, would always say around that time, Felix Potvin is God. Patrick Waugh with 1,039 saves. And save percentage, Felix Potvin again at 927. Barrasso and Dominic Hasek of Baltimore with 4 shutouts. Patrick Waugh has played 34 games in net. And GSAA is led by Hasek. I have no idea what GSAA is. I'm sure somebody who knows hockey sabermetrics will teach it to me. So we're off. We're going to do things a little differently. With this game, we're going to go back to the old classical way of showing the games, where the game details would go on the left and the stats would be on the right. You're not going to see the hockey rink. Now we're going to try to play the game again. Yes, we're good to go. We will continue. We will assume the lines have been. We traded some players. We traded Brent Gretzky away to Calgary, I think. And I've been doing a little wheeling and dealing, trying to get the club to do a little better. Peter Breeza is in goal for the Lightning. He has a 910 save percentage. Bill Ranford at 899, and he has one shutout in 32 games. So let's get this started. And as you see, this is kind of how FHM 6 looked. And I'm going to do some options real fast. We're going to break for goals and penalties. Show you the puck location, yes, but injuries, no, we're not going to break for injuries. And where the play-by-play speed will be normal, but the clock speed will be fast. And we will just show you the goals, as is often the case, and we're going to bring the sound down a little lower. Drop the puck and let's go. So this kind of looks like the old FHM 6. I kind of prefer the FHM 6 setup myself until the 2D is perfected. The 2D, the games take a little longer. And when I was playing FHM 6, you could do a game like this in about 11 minutes. So we're about 3.5 minutes into the first period. We're still going to do an hour's worth of games, bare minimum. Special shout out to Al, Red Sox fan, who I've been chatting with, talking wrestling's finest with him throughout the course of today. Of course, here in Tampa Bay, this January 23rd, everybody is waiting for the Bucks to play their NFC Championship game. Only the 4th time the Bucks have been in the NFC Championship. And I'm just going to speed things up here just a skosh. Go fast on the play-by-play speed, fast on the clock speed. And let's see, that speeds things up a little bit. So far, no score. 4 shots for Edmonton, 2 for Tampa Bay. This still seems to be going a little slow, so just bear with me. Well, this is the first time I have messed with... Well, we're fast, so I shouldn't mess with it, I don't think. Okay, sorry folks. Doing some fine-tuning here as Edmonton and Tampa Bay are squaring off. Edmonton by this time was declining a bit as a hockey team. They had some great years in the 80s with Wayne Gretzky, but when they traded Gretzky to the Kings, it took a little while for the Oilers to head southward. And it is Sean Val Allen scoring an assist from Weimer and Varenka. And the Oilers lead 1-0 with 6:55 left in the first period. I did hit play a few times. Holding penalty against David Malley of Edmonton. So power play here for Tampa Bay. So everybody talking about the Bucks game, the Lightning losing to the Columbus Blue Jackets earlier this afternoon as I record this. Didn't look like it was a close game. It looked like it was like 5-1 or 5-2 or something like that. It's the first time the Lightning lost, but Columbus is no slouch. There's 5-2. And if you had money on the Blue Jackets in Vegas today, you covered just by them winning the game. There was no puck line on the game. It was a put. It was a even money. Cross-checking against Mikael Anderson of Tampa Bay. So now Edmonton assumes the 2-minute power play, which will end in the second period. Shots, not a lot of them. It was 7 shots each after a period, and we go to the second. 1-0 Edmonton. It's easier for me to call the game, as well as I can call a hockey game, being a Florida boy. So it's Breeza against Ranford in the respective goals. Hartford just took a shot, so it's 8-7 now. 3 minutes into the second. Tampa Bay looking for a win, which they have not seen in the last 12 games. They have lost 10 and tied twice. The good news is I'll get a high draft pick at this rate, but the bad news is I might not be GMing the team. 6 minutes gone by. Cross-checking against Igor Larionov. So again, Hartford on the power play, but they're not cashing in on the power plays. 13 minutes left, second period. I figure if we do the games in the classic mode, we could probably get 4 in. Now we have a scoring attempt here for Edmonton, it would appear. And there it is. It is Joe Murphy, assisted by Craig McTavish, and it's 2-0 in favor of Edmonton. The shots are close. It's 13-10 Oilers. And I like this better than I do the 2D, to be honest with you, at this point. Once the 2D gets developed a little more, perhaps I will change my tune. And Digital to Dice podcast is interviewed just recently the chief, the creator of FHM 7, if I am saying that correctly. I am midway through that podcast now as I record this. Brad Wawrinka, 2 minutes for tripping, and that gives Tampa Bay a power play. But Edmonton up 2-0 in goals and 14-12 in shots at the moment. Seems like a very quiet game at this point of it. And let's see what we have here. Do we have a Lightning goal? We do. Bergevin scores. Mellanby was injured on the play. I believe he is with Edmonton. A major injury, thigh muscle strain. I'm not seeing him on my team, so it's 2-1. Assists from Zaminer and Crossman. So the Lightning now within a goal of tying this baby up in Edmonton at the Northlands Coliseum. I don't think they play at Northlands anymore. I think they have opened up a new arena for Edmonton. Interference, Mikhail Anderson. So Tampa Bay will go shorthanded for 2 or less if Edmonton gets a goal. But I like this format better, to be honest with you. It makes it easier to call the games and to look at how many shots the team has scored and all of that. And have that at your fingertips instead of going through the box scores and looking it up. But Digital to Dice is doing a... Oh, goals. We're tied. Let's interrupt that. AstraZeneca, an assist from Zaminer and Chambers. 2-2, 36 seconds left in the second period. I'm halfway through that Digital to Dice podcast. I listened to about a half hour. I'm going to listen to the rest of it as I upload this game to YouTube. Getting ready for the third period. It is 17 shots to 15 in favor of Edmonton. Tampa Bay trying to get a win that eluded them all of December here on January 2nd, 1993. That will be the start game, and we'll show you the first few games of January. Does not look like an all-star game is playable, even though they played one. Roughing against Sean Van Allen of Edmonton, so Tampa Bay on the power play. Oh, fighting. Dave Manson and Mike Hartman were the combatants, so they'll each sit for 5 minutes. And another penalty very quickly. Asa Tikkanen, tripping. So we have a whole slew of penalties here. The 5-on-3. For the Lightning, let's see if they can convert and take the lead. Doesn't look like it's clear who's going to score. Lightning have it, so maybe it's them, and it is! AstraZeneca again, that's his second. Creighton and Crossman on the assists. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Could this be the night they get off the schneid and win one? We got 15 minutes left in the third, so a lot can happen still. Here's another scoring chance for Tampa Bay, it appears, and there it is. Bureau with the assist from Mark Bergevin. I'm so excited I can't speak straight. 4-2 Tampa Bay. See, this is how I remember the Lightning of 92-93. They did have some talent on the team. They don't have Brian Bradley on the team that we are doing now because he was injured, missed several months, but They did make the playoffs within 4 years of their birth, so they did have potential. And they did have good management leading the way. Of course, Phil Esposito was very involved with the Lightning, and he still is. He's calling the games on radio with Dave Mishkin is the guy. If you ever watch Lightning highlights, he's the guy that's yelling score, score, score. Joe Murphy has just made it a 4-3 game. Assist from Brent Gilchrist, and it's 4-3. So this one far from over yet. In fact, Edmonton with another scoring chance, and we're tied. 4-4. Gilchrist again. Corson and Murphy assisting. So we're dead even at 4-4. Shots are even at 23 all. And hooking against Adam Creighton of Tampa Bay. So let's see. The Edmonton Oilers go on a power play here, and that's boarding against Mikael Anderson. Ouch! So we're piling up the penalties again, a 5-on-3 for Edmonton, tripping against Jeff Smith. So there goes a penalty against Edmonton. So we got a whole slew of penalties, and tripping against Bernie Nichols. Looks like we have 3-on-3 hockey here for a little bit. And then Tampa Bay will get a 5-on-3 advantage if I read this right for a little bit. And there that goes. And the Lightning quickly score with the 5-on-3. Hodge. Kenny Hodge assisted from Anderson and AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca having a great game today. This first game that we're showing you, 5-4. Lightning lead with 4 minutes to go and now less. Three minutes left now, about 2:30. Can the Lightning pull it out? Imagine by now Edmonton will be thinking about pulling their goalie. Can the Lightning get another goal to ice it? Under 30 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Lightning win. Lightning win. 5-4. They get off the schneid and win one. So the three stars. AstraZeneca, Murphy, and Zaminer. So two Lightning players. Breeza gets the win for the Bolts, the backup goalie. Cote had a bad game for Tampa Bay, but John Casey was not used. He's usually the top goalie. We traded for Casey in October and sent Wendell Young to the North Stars, who eventually would move to Dallas. So there you go, a 5-4 game. Shots was 31-28 Tampa Bay. Penalty minutes about the same, 15-17. So that's what we like to see, a win. So we're now 9-24-5. That's 2 points. Coach reports on some new players. Breeze's having trouble adjusting, but Gavey, Myers, Ruchin, Wilkinson still getting used to the new team. Bannister, Niemanen, and Tarasenko. Pavel Bure now at a 12-game point streak. Mario Lemieux, his point streak is 15. Memorable game for Brendan Shanahan as St. Louis beat Toronto. He scored 3 times. He had a hat trick. And Janney had a good game. Also that same game, St. Louis and Toronto. And let's see here. He had no goals and 4 assists. So we're off now to play Vancouver. Player who was suspended, Edmonton Oilers get Butchberger back. Or Buchberger. Thinking of Cloris Leachman and Young Frankenstein saying that name. Frau Booker. Or Sweeney's. Whee! LaForge, the Winnipeg Jets. Mark LaForge was suspended. Pat LaFontaine has a goal in 5 straight games. Luke Robitaille with his 300th goal. And Brett Hull out for 3 weeks for the St. Louis Blues. So now off to Vancouver. Continue. And we will play this game, game number 2 tonight, between Tampa Bay and Vancouver. Drop the puck and let's go. And immediately a penalty against Jeff Courtnall of Vancouver. I'm pretty sure it was Vancouver. Yes, it was. Delay of game against Doug Crossman, so both teams feeling a little chippy and ornery. And Vancouver already got the first 4 shots. Trevor Linden booked for tripping. So now Tampa Bay, we have a whole slew of penalties on the board. We're 2 minutes in. Tampa Bay still hasn't gotten their first shot. Five shots to nothing against Tampa Bay now. Vancouver has racked up 6 without a reply. Let's get a shot, boys, at least. You know, as Gretzky says, you only miss the shots you don't take. Holding against Jim Sandlack of Vancouver. So Tampa Bay with a power play, but they still, now they finally get their first shot more than 5 minutes into the game. Tampa Bay trying to win 2 in a row on the road. And we'll play as many games in an hour as we can. This is already game number 2. So I'm thinking we could get 4 in. Midway through the first period almost. Still 7 shots to 1 against Tampa Bay. Holding against Robert Cron. All these Canadian names you don't know if it should be done with a French accent or not. Adam Creighton tripping, so penalty minutes are piling up here. A little trickle here and a little trickle there. Not the explosion of penalty minutes you would see with a major fight. I was watching hockey on USA Network the night of the Good Friday Brawl in, I think it was 1984, between Montreal and Quebec. I have never seen a fight that bad since. And I don't think I've ever seen a fight that bad before. If you ever get the chance to watch that on YouTube, watch it. That was, as I think it was Bob Cole doing the game on Canadian TV, said the brawl to end all brawls. That was a wild one. So is Vancouver going to score here with the Pittsburgh Pirates covers? That was Babich with Cron and Plavsic assisting, and it's 1-0 Vancouver. Tampa Bay not getting a lot of shots off right now. Kirk McLean in goal for Vancouver. Hooking against Cliff Ronning. And Tampa Bay will go on the power play, which will carry over into the second period. Can the Lightning get on the board? And no! A shorthanded goal for Robert Cron, assisted by Gerald Diduck, and it's 2-0. That could be a momentum changer. Vancouver just dominating the first period on shots at 14-4, and we will go to the second period, 2-0 Vancouver. Tripping against Cliff Ronning. When I see that name, I think of Sybil Danning, who was an 80s and 90s B-movie actress. Best known for a certain part of her body, and I'll just leave it at that. Well, anyway. 15-5, and could Vancouver add to their lead here, or will the Lightning come back and get a goal? It's the latter, Lightning and Konstantin AstraZeneca having a good couple of games for us, and it's 2-1. I think actually Sybil Danning was actually an actress in the 70s too. Ken Hodge interference for 2 minutes, so Vancouver goes on to color. I'm hard pressed to remember her doing anything in the 90s. Somebody will be on IMDb and look that up for me and correct me when I upload this to YouTube, but We have 12:30 left in the second period, and it's 2-1. This was the week that we lost a few sports personalities. Don Sutton, the pitcher of the Dodgers and later the Angels. Hank Aaron, a goal for the Lightning. That was Jonas Bergquist, assisted from Hodge and Anderson. 9:49 left. Yeah, 9:49 gone by in the second, and we're dead even almost at the midway point of the game. Shots are now 22-11. Tampa Bay creeping in. We lost Hank Aaron yesterday, the slugger for the Braves and Brewers and Milwaukee Braves too. And while I go on my little monologue, DeMaio has scored, assisted by Creighton and Anderson, 3-2. Tampa Bay now leading. And of course, this morning we found out that Larry King had passed at the age of 87. I think he was a bit of a hockey fan. Under 7 minutes now left, second period. Of course, he was much better known for being a baseball fan. Growing up in Brooklyn, was a fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Can the Lightning score again? Or will the Canucks make it a 3-3 tie? Somebody has scored. We're just going to find out who. It's the Lightning again. 4 straight. AstraZeneca again. 4-2 AstraZeneca. Putting on a show these last couple of games that we have done for you. And how about 5? Anderson. Assist by Bergquist and Hodge. 5-2 now, Tampa Bay. 5 unanswered. Despite the fact they are more than half. Vancouver is more than doubled up on Tampa Bay on shots. That's 31-14. But Tampa Bay getting a lot of quality shots, I would say. Down to a minute and a half in the second period. And we go to the third with the 5-2 Lightning lead. They're kicking ice and taking innings. Pavel Bure called for tripping, so now he goes to the sin bin, and again, Tampa Bay on the power play. They've been outshot 32-14, but they have a 5-2 lead at this point. Tripping against Robert Cron, or Robert Cron. Somebody will know how to pronounce that name. They say Mike Emmerich, who just retired as the lead commentator for NBC, was the man who knew how to pronounce everybody's name, and he kept a little book about it. Zamener tripping for 2 minutes, so it'll be 4-on-4 for a little bit, and then Vancouver will get a delayed power play. 5-2 in favor of Tampa Bay still. I would think hockey would be the most difficult sport of the big four in North America to do. Football, baseball, basketball, and then I think hockey would be the most difficult. Trevor Linden has scored for Vancouver to make it 5-3 with 5:58 gone by in the third. Have to be careful how I do my math. Shots are 39-16 in favor of Vancouver. But Vancouver's shots are not finding the nets, and Tampa Bay's are. Now 41-16. This is incredible. 42-16. So can Tampa Bay hold on? John Casey is the goalkeeper, by the way. So now we're at about the 9-minute mark. That's tripping against Bergevin. So Vancouver on the power play yet again. Still plenty of time for them to get a goal. So Casey has 43 saves, if my math is correct. So we approach the 13-minute mark of the third. 47 now. 47 shots to 16. Tim Sweeney elbowing, so Tampa Bay on the power play. Can they cash in one more time and take a 3-goal lead? Goaltender interference, Hika Nieminen. Oh, I think I got that right. So both teams with a player in the box, and Lightning will have a very brief power play here for about 25 seconds or so. And now both teams at full strength. We have 4 minutes to go. 5-3 Tampa Bay still. Kay Whitmore is the goalie for Vancouver, by the way. We just mentioned him. Down to the nitty-gritty. 2 minutes to go. 50 shots by Vancouver, and they're going to come up short tonight. 51. This is incredible. And yeah, it's over. Tampa Bay wins. They were outshot 52-18, but they win 5-3. Stars of the game were Anderson of Tampa Bay, Cron of Vancouver, Creighton of Tampa Bay. McLean had a bad game for Vancouver. Nobody had a bad game with Tampa. Casey the winner, McLean the loser, hence the poor play. We had Dave Babbage reach 850 games, and Mikhail Anderson goes to 150 points. 2 more points for the Lightning, who are now 10-26-5. My goal, keep in mind, is 50 points for the Lightning in their expansion year. And we have time for 2 more games at least. Rod Ramage coming back. Open ice leads to productive night for Brian Leach, who scored 4 assists as New York won 8-2 over New Jersey. Herb Brooks out as the coach of New Jersey, and they have hired Ted Sater. Menchinov of the Rangers was suspended. Pavel Bure had his point streak end, as did Vincent Damphousse. Kurt Muller now with 7 goals in goals in 7 games. Eric Desjardins had his suspension end, and everything else we have seen. So we look at the mail for today, and we start off with Calgary. Joe Nieuwendyk having his point streak extended to 20. Mary Lemieux has a point streak extending now to 16. Ryan Bellows with 5 assists in 1 game. It was an 8-4 Montreal win over San Jose in California. Vincent Damphousse is now at 13 games in a row with at least 1 point. Kurt Muller has a goal streak now going to 8. That was the game I was mentioning too with San Jose. And Rod Ramage looking like he will come back soon. Back out to Los Angeles. They were out last month, and we're going to have another game between the Lightning and the Kings. Spotlight is on Wayne Gretzky, who had 33 games played, has had 63 points and 27 goals. His plus-minus at 6. Peter Briza and Kelly Rudy, who's red hot right now, in goal for the Kings. So off to the Inglewood Forum. Drop the puck and let's go. As the Lightning, of course, it's right around that area where the Rams and the Chargers are playing NFL ball, the new SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, which will host next year's Super Bowl. Tim Berglund, 2 minutes for roughing. That's how we start this game. So the Kings go on a power play. How many will Wayne Gretzky score tonight? We don't know. We will find out. Video at about the 35-minute mark, so we should get at least 1 more game in before we sim the rest of the games for January and come back to you in February. Not much going on, kind of quiet right now. 5 shots for LA and 2 for Tampa Bay. Of course, you would have had Gretzky against Gretzky in this game, but I sent Gretzky to Calgary in a trade, but I forget who I got. Fighting, we had McSorley and Creighton with the fisticuffs, so they will each sit for 5 minutes. Offsetting penalties, and it's not a 4-on-4 situation when you have offsetting majors, or at least it wasn't at this point in time in the NHL. So this is holding against Sean Chambers, so I think the Bolts will now be shorthanded. In fact, it's now a 5-on-3 with Tampa Bay also serving their 5-minute penalty for fighting. And we had a major injury, Doug Crossman, the black eye. So Tampa Bay loses a player the rest of the game, at least. A black eye could be a major injury. Well, I guess it could be, especially if you can't see out of your eyes. Ask your favorite boxer about all of that. And the Kings are on the board. Now I have to say this name carefully. Alexei Zhitnik, with the assist from Gretzky and Sidor, and it's 1-0 LA. 3:52 left to go first period. Shots are 16-6 in favor of the Kings. Wonder why nobody has ever given a team nickname, like for college or a pro team, the Potentates. But then again, everybody would see that nickname and say, what? You calling them that? McSorley tripping. Forcer for the Kings, he goes to the sin bin. Probably will enjoy himself a little bit in there. Nika Niemanen, 2 minutes for slashing. And now we are at 4-on-4. With LA getting a delayed power play. When we come back for the second period, it's 1-0 Kings, 16 shots for LA and 8 for Tampa. So this Lightning team has picked up a couple of games, so we're happy about that. Like I said, my goal is 50 points. I didn't expect the Lightning to do a Vegas Golden Knights and go to the Stanley Cup their first year. Vegas is also doing well so far this season. I think they have only lost once so far. Under 14 now left in the second period. A 1-0 Lightning lead. Shots are now 18-8 Los Angeles. Of course, Vancouver got, 52, 53 shots against the Lightning in the last game we were just showing you. And the Lightning wound up winning. So there's hope for the Lightning yet. You ever watch that Simpsons episode, I won't say about 25 years ago, where Homer Simpson becomes a fighter, and he just lets everybody tire themselves out, throwing punches at him, and Homer's connecting all the punches, and he just push over the foe for the knockout. Sidor, 2 minutes for hooking, and Tampa Bay now goes on the power play. It's kind of what the Lightning do here. You let them take all their shots. A goal! That's a goal for Mikhail Anderson, assisted by Creighton and Crossman. 11:50 into the second period. It's a 1-1 tie. This is kind of what the Lightning does here against their fellow teams. They let them take all kinds of shots. The goalie makes all kinds of saves. And then when the attackers get tired, the Lightning seem to capitalize and score. And we have action all over the place, end to end here. So I don't know who has scored yet between Tampa Bay and LA here. Whoever scores takes the lead. Looks like LA is pushing it. Tampa Bay was on the attack. Now the Lightning are moving it up. Hard to know who's going to get the goal here, because it's kind of alternating between the two teams, and it's the Kings. Mike Donnelly with an assist from Paul Coffey, who was a teammate of Wayne Gretzky's. At Edmonton came to LA. So it's 2-1. LA leading. With 3:30 now left in the second period. Shots are now 23-12 in favor of LA. Here comes more shots. And Breeza is beaten again, but he's only beaten by one of the greatest players of all time, Wayne Gretzky. 3-1. With about 2 minutes left in the second, we'll have one more game after this one, maybe two. Probably could squeeze in another. But I wanted to show you all more games. And the way 2D is set up, it's not conducive to that. Usually I could do a game in about 10-15 minutes in the classic mode. So we're going to do this for the time being. And we drop the puck for period number 3. 3-1 Kings. Shots are 25-13. Can the Lightning get a goal here to get close? They can. It's Rob DeMaio, assisted from Bergevin and Larionov. And it's 3-2 in favor of LA. And now Tampa Bay has drawn closer. Sixteen and a half left to go. Shots are 25-15 in favor of LA, so the Lightning are creeping up on the Kings in terms of shots. And they're keeping a game close against a red-hot goalie in Kelly Rudy. It is high sticking against Joe Rickey. So Tampa Bay will be shorthanded 5-on-4 for a little bit, or until the Kings score on the power play, which wipes the penalty clean. And the penalty has been killed. So they're back to even strength. 26 shots for LA, 15 for Tampa. And we have a roughing penalty against Konstantin AstraZeneca. Again, a shorthanded situation here for Tampa Bay that they must weather. 27 shots to 15. Hooking against Rob Blake. So now we have a 4-on-4, and then Tampa Bay gets a delayed power play. 27 shots to 16 now. No shame losing by 1 to the Kings. I think this was the only year that the Lightning were in the Western Conference, or the Campbell Conference, I guess you could call it. 4.5 left. Tampa Bay's got to take some more chances offensively to get this game tied. 3 minutes to go. It's 30-19 on the shots. LA. Under 2. And that's probably an empty netter. McIntyre, assist from Kudelski. 4-2 Lightning, so I think we could put this in the win column for the Kings. Unless the Bolts happen to catch a great deal of luck, they're not going to get anything tonight. And that's it, 33-21, so Tampa Bay came back and made the shot total respectable, but a 4-2 win for the Kings. Stars of the game, of course, it's going to be Wayne Gretzky's going to be 1. Rob DeMaio and Alexei Shitnik. And this went the same way that their other regular season meeting went on December 15th of '92. Both were 4-2 scores. Nobody had a bad game for either team. No milestones. And Tampa now at 25 points still. Shots were 33-21, penalty minutes about even. And let's look what has been going on in the league. Wayne Gretzky now has a 5-game goal streak, thanks to us. Pat Verbeek with his 300th goal in Buffalo's 7-4 win over Hartford. Pat LaFontaine, 3 goals and assists, a hat trick as Buffalo beats Hartford. And now he has a 6-game goal streak on top of that. Brian Marchment, who plays with the Blackhawks, unavailable for 5 games. He did something to earn a 5-game suspension. Freddie Stillman has an assist streak up at 9 now. He's with the Edmonton Oilers. Peter Vondra of the Capitals, 2 goals and an assist. His goal streak is now 5. Mario Lemieux has scored again. 17 games in a row he has gotten a point. He got 2 assists in a recent game with Minnesota. Michel Petit, suspended for a game. Joe Nieuwendyk extending his point streak now to 21 for the Calgary Flames. And again, we're getting rumors that Rob Ramage might be close to returning, our defenseman for Tampa Bay. And after playing all these roadies on the West Coast, it's now time to head off to Minnesota. Jeff Courtnall had a 3-goal, 1-assist game as Vancouver beat Detroit 5-4. LaFontaine has had a goal to extend his streak to 7 games with at least 1 goal. That was New York Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres. 4 assists for Trevor Linden of Vancouver. Vancouver just recently beat Detroit 5-4. And Wayne Gretzky with his goal streak going to 6. And that was a game against the Winnipeg Jets. So now we're off to Minnesota to play the North Stars. It's going to be John Casey against Wendell Young, except this time Casey is in goal for Tampa Bay and Wendell Young, our former goalie, in goal for the North Stars. Mike Modano is the player to watch on the North Stars. 13 goals, 39 points. 41 games played, and his plus-minus is 11. Romer Hammerlick being profiled here. 29 games played. He has 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, but a plus-minus of -8. To the Met Center, and I think that was in Minneapolis for this game. Might be able to get one more in. We're looking at the time here. We're at 48 minutes. Trent Klatt called for holding, so Tampa Bay on an early power play. Just 58 seconds into the game. I was saying in a previous episode that I went to a Tampa Bay Lightning Minnesota North Star game in, I think it was like November of 1992. High sticking. It was the first NHL game I ever went to. Peter Aloha? No, that wouldn't be right. Ahola. High sticking. I guess he plays for Minnesota because he's in Ahola. Okay, folks. Sorry for the little levity here. 4 minutes almost gone by in the first period. No score. This time Tampa Bay has taken all the shots so far at 5-0 in the shots. Anderson 2 minutes for tripping, so the sin bin getting a little clogged up. And now Minnesota has the 5-on-4 advantage here for about the next 30 seconds or so. And just as the power play was ending, work with me, fellas. It's Mike Modano, assisted by Prop and Neil Broughton, and it's 1-0 North Stars. This has the Dallas logo on, I think. But you could apply it to Minnesota. Rob DeMaio, a roughing penalty. And again, could Minnesota score a second time? How about yes? 2-0. Gagne, assisted by Courtnall and Dahlin. I always think of that Barbara Mandrell song, Darling. Da, 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 da. It's also been covered a whole bunch of times. I think Barbara Mandrell did the original. Da, 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 da. Dan Quinn of the interference penalty, so I think that it goes against Minnesota. But Niemann gets called for tripping, and that evens things up. Every time we go on a power play, we get a penalty called against us. Hooking against Alain Cote. So now it's 4-on-3 for Minnesota. Already with a 2-goal lead. Shots are almost even, 7-6. Little more than midway gone by in the first period. 2-1 so far in this fourth part of the FHM 7 Birth of the Bolt series. Then we will, as soon as this part's over, I'm going to sim the remaining games of January and then come back with you with some February matchups. We'll try to do the Stanley Cup possible clinching games at the end of the season. And then we will go into the next season. And the Lightning have scored. It is Rob DeMaio, assisted by Creighton and Cole, 2-1. So the Lightning have played well from behind, at least in these most recent games that I have been doing. They seem to respond to pressure, much like the Buccaneers have this year, this real-life 2020-2021 year. I said 19. Hasn't been a year with a 19 in it since December 31st, 1999. We have played one period. It's 14-10 on shots in favor of the North Stars. They lead 2-1. Let's play another 20. We are at 52 minutes into this video. Going to be a close call whether or not we could play another game. But I like the feel of the classic mode, the classic visual mode, because you could see a lot more, too. And it was DeMaio getting the goal for Tampa Bay. Just to cut it to 2-1, and we're waiting on that next goal. We have about 6 minutes gone by in the second. Shots are 20-11 in favor of Minnesota. Be eager to listen to the rest of the Digital to Dice podcast. I stopped it about halfway through because I reminded myself, oh, I should do a video tonight. So 22 shots to 12. 10.5 gone by. Now 22 shots to 13. Midway through the second now, so we're midway through this game. Eight minutes to go. And I wanted to also tell you, don't be afraid to visit the blog I do covering all my sporting endeavors. Top of this YouTube channel, it is Big Polly's World of Sports Sims .wordpress.com. Big Polly's World of Sports Sims. It's just one gigantic word, like the YouTube channel. .wordpress.com. I try to keep things up to date. You get your latest Digital Dice podcasts over there. I try to put them up as I can, including the one I have been talking about with the one of the people behind FHM 7. And let's see who scored this time. We're late in the second period. If the Lightning score, we're tied, and that's exactly what happened. Darian Hatcher bruised his finger, and it's a 2-2 tie. We did not see who scored the goal. That was Stephane Richer with an assist from Adam Creighton. Welcome to the Lightning, Stephane. A 2-2 tie. Under a minute to go. I think the Lightning will be way better when we play out the 93-94 season. We go to the third, it's a 2-2 tie, and only 2 shots between the two teams. 22 shots for the Stars and 20 for the Lightning. We're at 55-11. So I don't know if we'll have any, as they used to say in wrestling, TV time remaining for our last game. We might have to pull up the tents after this. Of course, this may go overtime. Fighting, 5-minute fighting. The headliners on the card, Mike Maphee and Joe Ricci. Ricci coming back with Tampa Bay. As we now work through this third period of hockey, and the 12th period I have done in this video. But I don't mind playing a lot of games in the classic visual setting. They're quick. You could do a game in about 15 minutes. Whereas I find with doing the 2D, it takes like 20, 25. And the Lightning. Lehtinen, and with the assist from Gagne, scores on his former teammate, John Casey, and it's 3-2 in favor of Minnesota. But we still have a lot of time left. Only 4 shots between these two teams, 25 and 21. So this is the kind of game the Lightning needs to boost morale. So far, we're 2-1 in the month of January, so we'll either be 3-1, 2-1-1, or 2-2. One of those 3 possibilities. This is back when they still had ties in the NHL. They played a 5-minute overtime, 5-on-5, 5-minute overtime, and if nobody scored, then the team split the points. 7 minutes left to go. Shots are very even, 27-25. Might have to call for a recount here. Ba-dum-bum. Tip the veal. We're at 5 minutes to go. 1 shot between these two teams. That's how even the game has been. It's kind of looking at this Bucks-Packers game tomorrow and trying to pick a winner. It's going to be tough. 3 minutes to go. Okay, Lightning should be thinking about pulling their goalie. I just do the GMing. I don't do any of the strategies. Mike Modano. Oh, this could be a huge break for the Lightning. Could be 6-on-4 if they pull the goalie. We're down to a minute to go. Shots are almost even. 28-26, Minnesota. In fact, they're going to end even, it looks like. Roughing against Larionana, so there went any advantage. Pull the goalie, guys. No deal. Shots are even 28 all, but the Minnesota North Stars win 3-2. And the shots were 28 each. And Wendell Young was just a little better than who we traded for, and John Casey. The stars of the game were Gagne with a goal and an assist, Adam Creighton with 2 assists, Lehtinen of Minnesota with a goal. Nobody played a poor game for Tampa Bay, neither did anybody play a poor game for Minnesota. And it looks like this will be the last game for tonight. A 3-2 Lightning loss at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. That's right, Bloomington, where they had Metropolitan Stadium. So let's go through the mail for January 9th, and let's get out of here. Memorable night for Adam Oates. He scored 1 goal, 4 assists in a 7-3 Boston win over New Jersey, so obviously he's with Boston. Vincent Van Hoos. Van Hoos now has his point streak go to 14. Mario Lemieux had his point streak go to 18. Joe Nieuwendyk, his streak goes to 22. Michel Petit, his suspension over. No suspension for a controversial play involving Paul Cavallini. Frederick Stillman now with a 10-game assist streak. Joycelyn Lemieux with the Blackhawks. His suspension is now over, and Rod Ramage, as you saw in that last game, returns. So that's going to do it for this 4th part of the FHM 7 Birth of the Bolt series. This has been Big Paulie coming to you. Hope you enjoyed this last hour or so. Godspeed and God bless, and go Bucks. We'll do it all again soon. Bye bye for now, everybody.